Hello everyone, and you're watching Bitcoin Bubble news channel. And what we really need is for a group of digital banks that use digital money to come together. Indeed, we can give the first group of them names, right? Celsius, BlockFi, and NFTX. They were a bit like crypto news, so they weren't someone you could trust. And they took a crazy risk. They went off. That sounds bad, right? We need many banks that are supervised by adults and have strict rules about credit and risk. These banks should really think about this. Singapore is the place where Token 2049 starts this week. Please let us know if you are at the event. In light of Token 2049, what could be a better time for Michael Saylor to talk to Saifedean Amos? In this recent chat with Michael Saylor on Saifedean Amos, we talk about how Bitcoin could change the way governments work, replace fiat currencies, and change the way global banking systems work. At the moment, Bitcoin is worth about $61,000. It has gone up 5% in the last 24 hours and a further 5% in the last 7 days. Don't forget to like, join, and share this channel before we start and talk. Let's hear more from Michael Saylor now. To do what you want, you have to take some kind of business risk, technology risk, investment risk, or real estate risk. You also need to tell yourself that the returns are greater than the risk, right? People borrow money and give it to small and medium-sized businesses, which is what these corporate lenders do. They charge that much and brag that they get 12%, 12 to 14% interest rates on loans that are safe. That's why they're getting more than the 5% that the US or the government pays. They may be telling themselves that the extra 8% is worth less than the risk they're taking because of this. Still, you get 12% on that loan. You are being devalued by 8%. Actually, I don't think the rate of inflation for money has been 7 right now. I think it's been more like 9 or 10 for the past 4 years, right? This means that your money is losing value at an 8% to 10% rate, but you're getting a 10% to 12% to 12% or 12% to 14% to 14% return. And then there's the risk you're taking. You may not think it's risky, but it's probably 4% to 6% risky. If you're taking a 4% or 5% credit risk, getting paid 12%, and the rate of debasement of money is 8%, then you have a 0% real return after taking into account credit risk and inflation, right? In a way, those companies work for the general partner because the general partner gets paid extra. When you're getting 2 and 20, you want to do anything, right? That's how the limited partner who isn't getting paid the participant feels. But if you're a limited partner, you get a nominal return of 8 or 10%. But after the risk over 20, 30 or 40 years, there will be a blow that pretty much wipes that all out. Right now, it's hard to live off of your savings without taking risks. That's what I mean, I guess. I also think Bitcoin gives us a different option. While we're not there yet, I can see a time in 10 years when you could deposit your Bitcoin in a bank you could trust, and that bank would lend it out and give you a yield. You would never have to sell your Bitcoin again, and you could use the yield to pay your bills. The Bitcoin would then appreciate in value over time. Of course, you need a reliable bank for that to work. In that case, what is a bank? In a traditional bank, they take money from people who put it, find lenders who can pay back the loan, and charge interest rates that cover the risk of default. They actually lend money the right way. What's interesting about this is that the bank has to make money for its shareholders and the people who own the capital, and it has to pay the credit risk. And the fiat banking system we have now uses banks that are owned by the people and the government, right? The government decides how much money fiat banks can give out. Since Michael Saylor just talked about how Bitcoin can change global finance and upset national banking systems, let's hear more about how he thinks Bitcoin growth could change global economies. Saylor talks about how Bitcoin's special features could help people, businesses, and even the government make better financial choices of all kinds. Because Bitcoin has a fixed amount and is not controlled by a single entity, it could become the standard for responsible money management around the world. Listen to what Michael Saylor has to say as he talks about these groundbreaking ideas. I mean, I can get a return on my loan right now, whether it's in yen or some other currency. Like if I go to a place that pays high interest rates, like Turkey, they charge me a lot of interest, but the value of the currency is going down against the dollar. In this case, the money is losing 30% of its value every year, even though you are getting 20% interest. It looks like your real gain is less than 10%. Plus is not 8. The trouble is that I get 5% interest on $1 billion worth of dollars, but the money loses 7% of its value every year. Yes, what this means is that my real return on fiat capital is negative. The main problem is that all of these places will make billions of dollars in capital. It doesn't matter if it's Apple, El Salvador, or Harvard University, they all have capital. If they want to get a return on their money and protect it from inflation, they can't put it into a liquid capital object. They need to buy property, most likely property. What you buy is business real estate, which is also your inflation hedge. After that, you use it and get paid rent. Much of it has to be used to pay taxes, insurance, repairs, and the value of the car going down over time. After that, the rest might be a real crop, but it's not much. There are a lot of headaches that come with it, and it's not very much. In that case, I would own a business or stock that pays income. There is a chance that I could get there if I could own a business that could grow faster than inflation and make more money faster than inflation. But both of those are very, very hard. In a made-up time period called the Golden Age, if I had a bank I could trust and my money was in gold, I might have been able to put it in the bank and get interest on it. The bank would then lend us the money, get paid, and we'd each pay half of the interest. And that's a long-term plan for, keeping your money safe and then paying your bills. But we lost that power when fiat money came along. That's because, with very few exceptions, I think the real yield you can get on fiat money has always been negative. Do you know of any place in the world where you can get a real return on money that you put in a bank? Click on the link in the description to see the whole interview. We talked about how Bitcoin might change global banks and national government in this video.